Is your Jasper looking dull, scratched, or just sad after hours on the flat lap? You've got all you need, or a similar machine. You've picked a beautiful stone, but that mere shine just isn't happening, right? Chances are you've been making one of a few common mistakes. Today, I'll show you what not to do, and the simple techniques that will give you that liquid gloss finish on your Jasper every time. Let's turn that frustration into results. Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Whether you're a seasoned lapidary artist, or you're just getting started with your flat lap, especially if you've gotten all you need, this is the video for you. Today, we're focusing on Jasper. It's an incredible stone, but it can be pretty tricky to polish perfectly. I'll walk you through the most common mistakes people make, and most importantly, show you how to avoid them. The goal? Flawless, jaw-dropping shine. So let's get started. Okay, before we even think about touching a stone or firing up the machine, let's quickly cover safety. It's super important. Always wear your safety goggles. Rock chips and water can go flying everywhere, and your eyes are very precious. A good dust mask or respirator is also key, especially if you're doing any dry cleanup. Though, today we're focusing on wet grinding, which really cuts down on any of the dust. Some people also like to wear an apron to stay dry and clean. It's not a bad idea. Safety first, no shortcuts. It only takes a split second for something to happen, so let's make sure it doesn't. So, the first big mistake? That's rushing the rough grind, or even worse, not prepping your Jasper properly beforehand. It's easy to get excited and want to see that shine, so a lot of folks don't spend enough time with the 80 or 180 grit discs. This means that deep scratches or saw marks get left behind, or they don't deal with the pits and fractures that are already in the Jasper. And trust me, some types of Jasper can have hidden flaws that will turn into major headaches later. So you might be asking, why is this such a big deal? Well, if you don't get rid of these major imperfections at the very first, coarsest grit, they're going to haunt you through every single grit that follows. Finer grits just aren't made for removing lots of material or deep scratches. Trying to polish out a deep gouge with 600 to 1200 grit disc, that's like trying to chop down a tree with a butter knife. That just won't work, and it's really frustrating. You might get some shine, but those underlying flaws will stick out like a sore thumb, ruining your final polish. Plus, if you ignore big pits or cracks, your stone could actually break apart on the lap. That's not just disappointing, it's also very dangerous too. So what's the right way to do it? Start by prepping your rock. Take a good, close look at your piece of Jasper. Check for any existing cracks, deep pits, or nasty inclusions you don't want. If you've got a trim saw, now's the perfect time to cut off any problem areas, or to roughly shape your stone. And give that stone a good cleaning before it even touches the first lap. When you get to your coarse grit diamond disc, usually an 80 to 180 grit, this is where the real work happens. Your main goal here is to get rid of all those saw marks, get the basic shape of your cabochon or flat piece sorted, and to take out those deep scratches and any big surface flaws. Use lots of water and keep that stone moving across the lap. Don't be shy with firm, even pressure, but let the diamonds do their job. Don't try to force it. Every so often, stop, dry the stone, and look at it really closely. A 10x loop is your best buddy for this. Are all the saw marks gone? Is the basic shape looking how you want it? Only when you can honestly say yes to all that should you even be thinking about moving on to the next grit. Spending that extra time will save you so much frustration down the road, and it's the absolute bedrock of a perfect polish. Remember, the whole point of each step is to remove the scratches left by the last step. If you leave deeper scratches behind, you're just setting yourself up for a bigger headache down the road. Alright, mistake number 2, and this one's huge. It's all about incorrect grit progression. This means people either skip grits in their sequence, like jumping from a 180 grit straight to a 600 or even a 1200, or they just don't spend enough time on each intermediate grit to completely remove the scratches from the coarser one before it. Why does this matter so much? Well, each grit size is specifically designed to do one job: remove the scratches left by the grit before it, and replace them with its own finer set of scratches. If you skip a grit, that finer lap you jump to is going to have a really tough time, or just won't flat out be able to remove the much deeper scratches left by the way coarser disc. You'll be grinding away forever and still see those old, deeper scratches peeking through your polish. And it's the same deal if you rush through the grit. Let's say you hurry past the 325 grit. You won't get rid of all the 180 grit scratches. Then you carry those 180 grit scratches into your 600 grit stage, and on it goes. What you end up with is a polish that's hazy, scratched, or just doesn't look finished. So the fix is to stick to a complete and sensible grit progression. A pretty standard and effective sequence for your Jasper on a flat lap like the All You Need might look like this: 80 grit, or maybe you could start with 180 if your piece is softer or smaller. Then you'll move on to 260 or 325, then 600, then 1200, and then a pre-polish if you're using diamonds. Or you can go straight to the polish, which is usually an aluminum oxide or even cerium oxide. If you're using diamond paste, some folks go up to some crazy numbers, and we're talking 8,000, 1,400, or even 50,000 grit diamond paste for a truly exceptional shine. Here's the golden rule, and you've got to drill this into your brain. Do not move to the next finer grit until all scratches from the previous grit are gone. This takes patience. After each grit, clean your stone and your hands really well. Dry the stone completely and check it under a strong light. You are looking for any scratches that are coarser than what your current disc should be leaving. If you spot any, you've got to go back to that previous grit and keep working until they're history. I know, it's a bit tedious. Some people find it helpful to draw lines on the stone with a marker. Then you grind until all the lines are gone, which helps ensure you've covered the whole surface. Okay, on to mistake number 3, not using enough water, or just not managing your water correctly. This is a really common one, and it can cause some serious problems. Why is water so important? Well, it does a few crucial things. First, it keeps things cool, both your Jasper and your diamond lap. If they get too hot, there's a chance your stone can suffer thermal shock and crack, especially if it's a more delicate type of Jasper. Second, water acts like a lubricant, and it helps wash away all those tiny ground-up rock particles. We call that swarf. If that swarf isn't cleared out, it can get ground back into the surface, causing new, random scratches and making your diamond lap less effective. Third, it keeps that nasty silica dust out of the air you're breathing. So, how do you get it all right? Always use your flat lap with a good, steady supply of water. Most machines, the All You Need included, have a water reservoir and a drip system. Make sure it's full before you kick things off. And check that your drip rate is about right for the grit you're using and the size of your stone. Coarser grits usually need a bit more water to help wash away all the material they're removing. You should always see a visible film of water on the lap surface. If you notice the lap starting to dry out, or if you see a buildup of rock powder, you need to increase the water flow, or add some water yourself with a squirt bottle. Some lapidaries swear by distilled water, especially for the final polishing steps, to stop any material in the tap from messing with the polish or causing tiny scratches. I have that hard water out here, which contains a lot of calcium, so that's a must step for me. Next up, mistake 4 involves 2 things that go hand in hand: using the wrong amount of pressure, either too much or too little, and not keeping the stone moving consistently and properly across the lap. Some people lean in with their weight, thinking it'll speed things up, while others barely touching it. And a lot of us fall into the trap of holding the stone in just one spot or only moving it in a tiny area. So what's wrong with that? Pushing down too hard usually doesn't speed up grinding. In fact, it can make the stone sort of hydroplane on the water, which means the diamonds aren't cutting as well. It can also cause overheating, create deep random scratches if a bigger piece of grit gets trapped, and can even bend or damage your thinner diamond discs. On the polishing pad, too much pressure creates a lot of heat and can make the stone grab, which leads to a bad or uneven polish. On the flip side, too little pressure means the diamonds aren't really doing their job, and you'll be standing there all day, getting almost no material removed or polishing done. And if you don't keep the stone moving in different patterns, that's a surefire way to get the flat spots or facets where you don't want them. The sweet spot for pressure is usually moderate and consistent. You need enough pressure for the diamonds to bite into the stone, but not so much that you're forcing it to make the motor struggle. Let the diamonds and the machine do the heavy lifting. Listen to your machine. If it sounds like it's straining, you're probably pushing it too far. Movement is absolutely key. Keep that stone moving all around the entire surface of the lap. Mix it with different motions, figure eights, circles, back and forth, side to side. If you're shaping a cabochon, you'll also be rocking the stone to get that nice dome. The whole idea is to get all the parts of the stone surface against the abrasive evenly. This gives you even grinding, stops flat spots from forming, unless you actually want a flat surface, of course. And if you are working with flat pieces, spinning the stone around often helps too. Don't forget the edges as well as the center. Getting consistent movement, the right pressure, and good water flow, that's the magic combo for success. Alright, our fifth mistake, contamination and not cleaning up between grits. This one is a sneaky little devil when it comes to getting a fine polish. If you're not super careful about cleaning your stone, your hands, and your work area when you switch from coarser grit to a finer one, you're risking carrying over those bigger abrasive particles. Picture this. You've just finished your 320 grit lap and you're ready to move on to the 600 grit. Now, if even a few stray 325 particles, or worse, some 180 grit bits from your hands or lurking in the machine's basin get into your 600 grit lap or stay on the stone, they'll act like tiny little boulders. They'll gouge fresh, deep scratches into the surface you're working so hard to refine. These surprise scratches will be way coarser than what the 600 grit lap is supposed to make, and you won't be able to polish them out later without going all the way back. This is seriously one of the most common reasons why people find those frustrating, unexpected deep scratches right when they think they're at the final polishing stage. You know the old saying, cleanliness is next to godliness? Well, it's definitely true in lapidary. After you finish each grit, here's what you need to do. Number 1, clean the stone. Give your Jasper a really good wash under running water. Use a soft brush. An old toothbrush works great. And a little soap to scrub off any stuck-on grit, and rock slurry from every little nook and cranny. Rinse it completely. Number 2, clean your hands. Wash your hands really well with soap and water. Get all those abrasive particles off. Number 3, clean the machine. Wipe down the machine basin, the splash guards, and any spots where grit from the last stage might have landed. Make sure your water drip system is clean too. Some folks even have a separate water reservoir or change out the water completely when moving between coarser and finer stages. Not a bad idea, if you want to be extra careful. Number 4, lap storage. When you're not using your diamond laps, keep them in separate clean bags or containers. This stops them from picking up any stray grit, and label them clearly. You don't want to mix them up. If you're really on top of your cleaning game every step, you'll massively cut down the risk of those annoying rogue scratches that can ruin a great polish. And here it is. This is exactly what you get when you do it right. A deep, liquid gloss where the light dances across the surface. Look at how vibrant the colors and patterns are. No haze, no scratches. Just that flawless Jasper finish you've been aiming for. If these tips helped, give it a like. It really supports the channel. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And ring the bell so you don't miss more lapidary tips and tutorials. Now, I'd like to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge when polishing Jasper? Or do you have a favorite tip to share? Drop it in the comment below. Getting a perfect shine on your Jasper using a flat lap grinder isn't some kind of secret magic. It really comes down to understanding the steps, being careful and consistent, and avoiding the mistakes we've gone over today. So get grinding, do it wisely, and let those Jaspers shine. All right, my friends, once again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till next time.